Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you again here. We continue to learn PHP and magic methods. In this video, we'll explain the magic method get and write a real example with this method. So, let's start with the turn of the magic method get. The magic method get will run when you try to access a property that doesn't exist or is private or protected. Okay, let's play with this method a little bit. Create any class, for example, the class dog. Let's create several class properties. The first is a private property of type string called name. Set the default name to Charlie. The second is protected property of type string called color. Set the default color to black. Third is a public property of type string called breed. Set the default breed to shepherd dog. Okay, let's add the getMagic method. The method should return mixed type. It means that the method should return any of the types. The method get takes one variable called name of type string. This variable is the name of access to the property of an object. Let's add the output of some information for debugging. And return true. Let's create the object of class dog and access the public property breed. Run the script in the console and look at the result. As we can see, the get method didn't not output anything in the console, because the get method will run when you try to access a property that doesn't exist or is private or protected. In this case, the property breed is public. Okay, let's access the private name, protected color, and doesn't exist property. We run the script. You can see that the method get was triggered 3 times. So again, the get method will run when you try to access a property that doesn't exist or is private or protected. It's time to look at a real example. Popular PHP frameworks and libraries use magic methods, including get, for various tasks. One of the most common use cases for the get method is when working with objects and data from a database, where the objects fields are mapped to database table columns. Imagine that we have a table user in a database. The table can consist of 5 fields, for example. Or it can consist of several dozen fields. Agree that it's a bad idea after adding or removing a field from a table to go to the class and add or remove a property there. In addition, there is a high probability of getting an exception or error in a running large project. Therefore, here we can use dynamic property creation, and the properties will be managed by the magic method get. Inside the method, let's define a condition. The condition will check for the existing of the called property. If the property exists in the array of dynamic properties, we return its value. Otherwise, we throw an exception with an error. I have simplified this class as much as possible for clarity. I have eliminated the process of receiving and processing data from the database. Let's manually fill the array of dynamic properties. Imagine that this data we receive from the database table user. Let's create the object of the class user and access a few existing properties. Okay, then run the script and you can see that we received values of properties. If we try to access a property that does not exist, the get method will return an exception. And here we have the exception. So, if during development some developer wants to access a non-existing property, he receives the exception about error. Thank you for your attention. If it's useful and understandable, do not forget to like and subscribe. See you in my other video.